I was broke at 25, working 60-hour weeks, and still couldn't afford rent, until I discovered these 7 money mistakes were silently destroying my future. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you work, you're always stuck in the same financial position? Like money comes in, and somehow it just disappears. You're not alone. At 25, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had a decent job. I wasn't buying yachts or taking luxury vacations, but somehow I was always broke. Then one day, I hit rock bottom. My car broke down, and I didn't have $500 in my account to fix it. That's when I realized it wasn't about how much I was making. It was about what I was doing with it. I started studying wealthy people, not the ones flaunting Lamborghinis on Instagram, but real, self-made millionaires. And what I found shocked me. They weren't necessarily smarter than me. They didn't have secret insider information. They simply avoided 7 critical money habits that keep most people poor forever. Today, I'm going to share those 7 habits with you. If you're serious about changing your financial future, stay with me until the end. Because habit number 7, it's the one that changed everything for me. Habit number 1, spending money to feel rich instead of becoming rich. Here's the brutal truth. Most people are broke because they're trying to look wealthy. New iPhone every year. Leasing a car you can't afford. Designer clothes to impress people you don't even like. That's not wealth. That's a prison. I'll never forget my coworker James. This guy drove a BMW, wore designer everything, and always picked up the check at lunch. Everyone thought he was doing well. Then one day, he confided in me. He was 40,000 in debt and couldn't sleep at night. The car? Leased. The clothes. Credit cards. The fancy dinners. More debt. Real wealthy people. They drive Hondas. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same great shirt every day. Why? Because they understand something crucial. Wealth isn't about what you show the world. It's about what you own when nobody's watching. When I turned 25, I made a decision. I sold my finance car and bought a used Toyota for cash. My friends laughed. My family questioned me. But you know what happened. For the first time in my adult life, I could breathe. No more 450 monthly payments. No more anxiety about making rent. Here's what I want you to understand. Every dollar you spend trying to impress others is a dollar that can't work for you. That 150 pair of shoes, invested properly, that could be worth 4,000 in 10 years. That 50,000 car could be a down payment on a rental property generating passive income. Stop spending money to look rich. Start investing money to become rich. Your future self will thank you. Habit number 2, living without an emergency fund. This one almost destroyed me. Picture this, you're finally getting ahead. Your credit card balance is going down. You're feeling good. Then, bam, your transmission dies. Or you lose your job. Or you need an emergency root canal. Suddenly, you're right back in debt, drowning again. This is the cycle that keeps people poor forever. They can't get ahead because they're always dealing with emergencies on credit and credit cards. They're charging you 20–25% interest. You're not just paying for the emergency, you're paying for it 3 times over. Here's what changed for me. I built a 1,000 emergency fund first. Not 10,000, just 100,000. It took me 3 months of cutting back on everything. No eating out, no subscriptions I didn't absolutely need, no impulse purchases. It was hard. But that 100,000 gave me something priceless, breathing room. 6 months later, my laptop died. Old me would have panicked and thrown it on a credit card. New me, I paid cash from my emergency fund and rebuilt it over the next 2 months. No debt, no interest. No stress. The goal is to eventually have 3–6 months of expenses saved. But start with $30,000. That small buffer will break the cycle of emergency debt that's been keeping you poor. Most people never build this fund because they can't afford to. But here's the truth. You can't afford not to. Without it, your 1 car repair, 1 medical bill, one unexpected expense away from financial disaster. Stop telling yourself you'll start saving when you make more money. Start now, even if it's just 20 a week. In 1 year, that's over $1,000. That's the difference between staying trapped and starting to build real wealth. Habit number 3, paying yourself last, or not at all. Let me tell you how most people handle their paycheck. It hits their account on Friday. By Monday, rent is paid, bills are paid, groceries are bought, and they think, whatever's left over, I'll save. But here's the problem. There's never anything left over. This was me. For years, I had the best intentions. I was going to save money. I was going to invest. But somehow, at the end of the month, my account was always empty. Where did it all go? I honestly couldn't tell you. Then I learned the one principle that changed everything. Pay yourself first. Here's how it works. The moment your paycheck hits your account, before you pay a single bill, you automatically transfer a percentage to savings and investments, even if it's just 10%, even if it's just 5%. You do it first, automatically, without thinking about it. I started with 10% of my income going straight to a savings account I couldn't easily access. At first, I was terrified. What if I couldn't pay my bills? What if I needed that money? But you know what happened? I adjusted. I made it work. And that 10%, it started growing. After a year, I had $4,000 saved. I'd never had $4,000 in my life. The crazy part, I didn't even miss that money. My brain adjusted my spending around what was left. Turns out, when you only have 90% of your paycheck available, you find a way to live on 90%. Within 2 years, I had $10,000 saved. That $10,000 became my first investment in index funds. Today, that initial investment is worth over $18,000, and it keeps growing while I sleep. Here's the principle. You will never save what's left over, because there's never anything left over. But if you pay yourself first, you force your brain to budget with what remains. And that's when real wealth building begins. Set up automatic transfers today. Treat your future self like your most important bill. Because the truth is, your future self is your most important bill. Habit number 4, lifestyle inflation, the silent wealth killer. You get a raise. Finally, you're making an extra $500 a month. You tell yourself, now I can finally start saving. But what actually happens? You upgrade your apartment. You eat out more. You buy nicer things. And at the end of the month, you're in the exact same financial position, just with nicer stuff. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's the reason why people making $100,000 a year can be just as broke as people making $40,000 a year. Your income goes up, but so do your expenses. You're running faster on the treadmill, but you're not getting anywhere. I made this mistake big time. When I got my first promotion and a 20% raise, I immediately moved to a nicer apartment. Better car. Better everything. A year later, I realized I wasn't saving any more money than before. I was just broke at a higher income level. The wealthy do the opposite. When they get a raise, they save and invest the difference. Their lifestyle stays the same, but their net worth skyrockets. This is how people become millionaires. Not by making millions, but by saving and investing consistently while keeping their expenses low. Here's what I did differently after learning this lesson. I got another raise 2 years later. 15% increase. This time, I didn't touch my lifestyle. That entire 15%, straight to investments. I didn't reward myself with more spending. I rewarded my future self with more freedom. Now, I'm not saying never enjoy your money. But here's the rule. When you get a raise, split it. Take half and enjoy it if you want. But the other half, that goes straight to building wealth. This way, you improve your lifestyle slowly while also building serious financial security. The people who get rich are the ones who resist the urge to spend every dollar they make. They understand delayed gratification. They'd rather be truly wealthy at 50 than look wealthy at 30. Don't let lifestyle inflation steal your future. The next time you get a raise, make a conscious decision about where that money goes. Your future self is watching. Habit number 5. Ignoring high-interest debt while it silently destroys you. Credit card debt is a financial emergency, not a minor inconvenience, an emergency. If your house was on fire, you wouldn't casually walk around watering plants. You'd drop everything and put out the fire. But somehow, people treat 22% interest credit card debt like it's no big deal. Let me show you the math that changed my perspective. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest and you're only making minimum payments, you'll pay over $15,000 by the time it's paid off. You're literally paying 3 times what you borrowed. That's not a credit card. That's financial suicide. At 25, I had $8,000 spread across 3 credit cards. I was making minimum payments and wondering why I couldn't get ahead. Then I calculated how much I was actually paying in interest every month. Almost $150. That's $1,800 a year going straight into the bank's pocket for nothing. I got angry, really angry, and that anger fueled my debt payoff journey. Here's what I did. I stopped everything else. No vacations, no new clothes, no eating out. Every extra dollar went to debt. I used the avalanche method, paid minimums on everything except the highest interest card, threw every extra penny at that one. When it was gone, I attacked the next one. 9 months later, I was debt-free. And the feeling? Indescribable. It was like someone lifted a boulder off my chest. Suddenly, that $150 a month in interest payments became $150 I could invest. Over 10 years, that's over 18th all and that's not even counting compound interest. Here's what you need to understand. You cannot build wealth while paying 22% interest to credit card companies. It's mathematically impossible. You're trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is wide open. If you have high-interest debt, treat it like the emergency it is. Cut expenses to the bone. Work overtime. Sell stuff you don't need. Get intense about it. Because every month you carry that debt, you're throwing money away. And once you're free, never go back. Cut up the cards if you have to. If you can't control your spending with credit, don't use credit. Use debit or cash only. Getting out of debt won't make you rich overnight, but staying in debt will keep you poor forever. Habit number 6, refusing to learn about money. We spend 12 years in school learning algebra and Shakespeare, but nobody teaches us about compound interest, investing, or building wealth. Then we wonder why we're financially illiterate. If you don't understand money, money will control you instead of you controlling it. At 25, I knew nothing about investing. The stock market seemed like gambling for rich people. Retirement accounts. I figured I'd worry about that when I was older. Real estate. Way too complicated. So I just kept my money in a regular savings account, earning 0.01% interest while inflation ate away at it. Then I read a book that changed everything. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. It took me 3 days to read, and it opened my eyes to how simple investing actually is. I learned about index funds. I learned about compound interest. I learned that I didn't need to be a Wall Street genius. I just needed to consistently invest in low-cost index funds and let time do the work. Here's the crazy part. If I had started investing just $200 a month at age 22 instead of 27, I'd have over $200,000 more at retirement. 5 years of delay cost me $200,000. That's the price of financial ignorance. But here's the good news. Financial education doesn't require a degree. It requires curiosity and consistency. Read one book on personal finance. Listen to one podcast on investing. Watch one YouTube video on building wealth. Just start somewhere. I spent 30 minutes every morning for 6 months learning about money. I read books. I listened to podcasts on my commute. I watched videos. And you know what happened? Money stopped being this mysterious, scary thing. It became a tool I could understand and use. Within a year, I understood more about building wealth than 95% of people ever will. Not because I'm smart, because I decided to learn. Here are the basic things everyone should understand: compound interest, index fund investing, tax, advantaged retirement accounts, the difference between good debt and bad debt, and basic budgeting. That's it. Master these 5 concepts, and you're ahead of most people. Stop telling yourself you're not good with money. Nobody is born good with money. It's a skill you learn. And in today's world, with free information everywhere, there's no excuse not to learn. Your financial future is too important to leave to chance. Invest in your financial education. It's the highest return investment you'll ever make. Habit number 7, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. This is the big one. The habit that kept me poor longer than anything else. I was always waiting until I made more money to start investing. Waiting until I understood everything to get started. Waiting for the market to crash so I could buy low. Waiting. And while I waited, years passed. Opportunities disappeared. Compound interest that could have been working for me was lost forever. I was so afraid of making the wrong move that I made no move at all, which is the worst move possible. Here's what nobody tells you: there will never be a perfect time. There will always be uncertainty. The market might crash. You might lose your job. There might be a recession. But if you wait for certainty before you start building wealth, you'll be waiting forever. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today, right now. Not when you get your next raise. Not when you finish paying off debt. Not when you understand everything perfectly. Today. When I finally started investing, I was terrified. What if I was buying at the peak? What if the market crashed tomorrow? What if I was doing it wrong? But I did it anyway. I invested my first $1,000 into a simple index fund, and you know what happened? Nothing dramatic. The market went up some days, down other days. But over time it grew. That was 5 years ago. That $1,000 is now worth wonders $850. And more importantly, I've invested consistently every month since then. My portfolio is now worth over $90,000. All because I stopped waiting and started doing. Here's the truth about timing the market. Professional investors with teams of analysts and supercomputers can't do it consistently. What makes you think you can? You can't time the market, but you can time in the market. The longer your money is invested, the more it grows. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start small if you have to. Invest $50. Invest $20. Just start, because every day you wait is a day of compound interest you're losing forever. I meet people all the time who tell me they're going to start investing soon. They've been saying that for 5 years. Meanwhile, they could have had $30,000 saved by now. Don't be that person. The journey to wealth isn't about taking one giant leap. It's about taking small, consistent steps over time. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to begin. So there you have it. 7 money habits that kept me poor until I changed them at 25. Let me recap them quickly. 1. Spending money to look rich instead of becoming rich. 2. Living without an emergency fund. 3. Paying yourself last instead of first. 4. Letting lifestyle inflation steal your raises. 5. Ignoring high-interest debt. 6. Refusing to learn about money. 7. Waiting for the perfect time that never comes. Now, here's what I want you to understand. I'm not special. I wasn't born with money. I didn't get lucky. I didn't inherit anything. I just stopped making these 7 mistakes. That's it. If you're watching this video right now, you're already ahead. You're already learning. You're already taking steps. Now you just need to act. Pick one habit from this list. Just one. Maybe it's building that $400,000 emergency fund. Maybe it's setting up automatic transfers to pay yourself first. Maybe it's finally reading a book about investing. Pick one and commit to changing it this month. Because here's what I've learned: you don't change your life by making one huge decision. You change it by making better decisions every single day. Small choices, consistently made, create massive results over time. 5 years ago, I was broke, stressed, and hopeless. Today, I have over $90,000 invested, 0 debt, and I sleep peacefully at night knowing my future is secure. Not because I make six figures, not because I got lucky, but because I changed these 7 habits. Your financial situation today doesn't determine your financial future. Your habits do, and habits can be changed starting right now. If this video helped you, do me a favor, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I create content like this every week to help people break free from financial struggle. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 7 habits you're going to change first. Let's build wealth together. And remember, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Make them count. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.